You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. A quite disturbing story out of North Carolina, where an African-American woman who actually works for the NAACP, she says she was sexually harassed by an individual who worked for the NAACP, but to make it worse, this person now is running for the state conference presidency of the NAACP. These allegations, folks, go back now 2 years. They go back 2 years. They have been speaking to this very issue. I'm trying to pull up, there was a news conference today that took place in California, it took place in North Carolina, where they detail this sexual harassment. Rev.William, the former head of the North Carolina State Conference, NAACP, was at that news conference as well. I'm going to start with you, Monique. What's interesting here is that this has been going on for 2 years. The national office can actually remove someone from their position with these allegations. They hired a law firm to investigate, went through the investigation, detail these comments, detail these actions, present that report to the state conference, and these were individuals who actually were NAACP National Lawyers of the Year. But the fact of the matter is, NAACP still has not acted, and they are, and so these women are saying, and these elders today stood up at a news conference, North Carolina, these women, and said, we're standing with this woman, and it's time for the NAACP to act to remove this guy from consideration running for state conference president. Just your thoughts on this, and again, I'm trying to pull up this news conference.
Yeah, I've been wondering, I believe, it seems to me like there's something just missing from the story, because they followed process. They did what they were supposed to do. They did way more than was done for Franken when allegations came out. I mean, he was forced to resign without the semblance of process, due or otherwise. And so they get this report, and then no action is taken. And I mean, that's within their rights to do. But we don't know whether, because sometimes, no, they're not going to get me today talking about complainants. Just, we don't have the facts.
The conclusion may have been inconsistent, for example.
Right.
Or they may have had a finding, inconclusive finding, and that's why they haven't acted. But I do say this, the senior leadership of the NAACP in North Carolina ought to say something.
No, the senior, but they have. And that's the point there. What they've done is, Reverend Barber, when it actually happened, they went through the process. They actually hired outside.
But what's in the report?
Actually had an investigation that detailed and confirmed what actually took place. And other women have actually come forward as well. And what they're saying is the national office, they have the authority to, the president, CEO literally has the authority to remove somebody. And they're saying is, it is ridiculous this person is actually running to be president of the state conference.
Why haven't they done it?
Don't know. Don't know. I actually sent a text message before we came on the show today to their national spokesman, as well as the president, CEO, Derek Johnson, saying we're discussing this on the show today. I would like to get a statement from them. They said they were going to send a statement, and then let me check. I have not gotten it thus far. I sent that text message at 5:24. It's now 7:05, so I have not gotten it. And so, apparently these women plan on being in Baltimore tomorrow at the NAACP's national headquarters to bring more attention to this case.
Sounds like NAACP needs a crisis manager.
Right. But they need to act or communicate or something. The silence is deafening on this. What's the deal? If you don't want to remove him, say you're not going to remove him. And if you aren't going to remove him, okay, but say something. You got 5, 10 people here standing. They're going to be at the headquarters tomorrow. Why are you allowing this to fester? Just say something or do something.
And I understand, folks, and so I'm just going to, and so again, they had a news conference today. where they were quite open. Many of these, and they labeled it elder women stand with accused on sexual assault. These are women who are very prominent in the NAACP. Go to my iPad, please, and then here's some of those comments.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jazmyne Childs, and I am 27 years old. In January of 2017, I was incredibly excited to have been offered a job with the North Carolina NAACP as the State Youth and College Director. My work was not just work. It was my dream job, an opportunity to inspire young people and play a role in their voting and making our democracy work. I had long admired the North Carolina NAACP and the National NAACP and its women fighters. I wanted to be just like them. Shortly after I begun my dream work, a long nightmare began. On February 8th, 2017, I was out of work with the flu, on my couch covered with a blanket when my cell phone rang. My coworker, Tyler Swanson, said that a supervisor had asked him for my cell phone number. Tyler refused to give it to him. Tyler said he watched him open a file cabinet, pulling out a folder with my name and looking at my resume. About 30 minutes later, my phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. I thought it may have been someone from a branch or a college, so I answered the call. I heard the voice of the supervisor. I was very confused. I thought I had done something wrong, but in a seductive, low voice, he said he was calling to check on me and to let him know if I needed anything at all. He would be there for me. I tried to end the call politely because at the time I was a temporary employee and I wanted a contract position. I felt violated and scared. In fact, Tyler and another coworker had warned me in my first week at the NAACP never to be alone with this man because he had sexually harassed interns and other young women. After I hung up the phone, I understood what they meant. Then on May 2nd, 2017, the staff were in the office setting up for my coworker Laurel Ashton's surprise going away party. We left the lights off in the room, hoping she would not see what we were doing as I was unpacking food and setting it up on the table. I felt someone's breath on my neck, and then I felt him press his penis against my buttocks. I turned around quickly and saw the same supervisor. I yelled loudly, "Why are you hovering over me? That's gross. Move." He claimed he was looking for a receipt, and then he stormed out. I stood there feeling violated, ashamed, and scared after he sexually assaulted me. Concerned about my safety and that he would get more aggressive, I reported the incidents and filed a sexual harassment complaint. Once Reverend Barber learned about it, he ordered an independent investigation with a independent lawyer to conduct, which took about 5 months. The supervisor found out about my complaint and tried to intimidate me by barging into my office. I had to shut the door to keep him out. And I felt like a hostage. He resigned during the investigation, but he repeatedly showed up at NAACP events and would stare me down. And this too made me feel violated. At the conclusion of the 5-month investigation, the attorney/law professor gave her determination in a report. She concluded that I had indeed been sexually harassed those 2 times and several others. Reverend Barber sent the report to the National NAACP with a request that he be expelled as a member, which only the national body can do. However, nationals advised the North Carolina NAACP to file a cease and desist order banning him from coming to any more NAACP events, and they did. But he defied the order and appeared anyway to stare me down. I left the NAACP and I became aware that he was running for the state's NAACP president. So I wrote an open letter to National President Derek Johnson, asking that he use his power to stop it because he would endanger many women. He failed to respond to me. Instead, I was told to file an Article 10, the process used to have a branch member removed. I did that and got a requisite 42 signatures from members across the state of North Carolina. I have yet to hear from nationals. A different Article 10 was filed for expulsion of the same man who sexually harassed me for his protest in front of the Alamance County Commissioners meeting, and with television evidence, the National NAACP dismissed it. Moreover, not only does the perpetrator still have a close relationship with the executive committee, members of the executive committee, the North Carolina NAACP, but as I said, he is now running for the president of the North Carolina NAACP. As president, the predator will have access to many women locally and nationally. Standing here today is the last thing I wanted to do, but I have come forward for two reasons. First, to name the perpetrator who violated me. His name was Reverend Curtis Everett Gatewood. I'm also coming forward to demand that the National NAACP stop violating me and its women members and expel Reverend Gatewood and establish a sexual harassment policy. I want to be included in the process of developing this policy. These past 2.5 years have been very traumatic for me. This has been the most difficult thing I've ever had to deal with. First, I was violated by Reverend Curtis Gatewood and then violated by the National NAACP. I had to get professional counseling. I've wept many times, and it continues to haunt and hurt me. Seeing him flaunt himself on Facebook as a champion of young people and him running for president traumatizes me further. Moreover, people in the North Carolina NAACP have cascaded the elder women who support me without knowing all of the information. The challenge of fighting institutionalized sexual harassment is that it requires much from the victim. This is especially true when institutions like the NAACP do not have a clear process or policy for addressing sexual harassment and instead violate victims and cause them more trauma by sending them through a complicated bureaucratic maze. It's sexist. They cannot fight racism and protect sexism. It is wrong. With the support of family, friends, and the elder women of the NAACP, I stand here today against sexual harassment and the patriarchy in this society that this society allows and continue in open without sanction. I also stand here to demand that the National NAACP expel Reverend Gatewood for proven sexual harassment and sexual assault. To the many other victims of Reverend Curtis Gatewood and his sexual violence, who are scared to come forward, I stand for you today, and I'm sorry for all of the pain that he has caused you.
Yes.
I will not stop. We must protect other women.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
All right.
Gator, I'll make this statement, let us stay. Yeah. Hold that for me. Jazmyne is a leader,
Yes.
and Jazmyne is a champion among women. Her mother is here. I want to make sure the media knows this is her mother. To stand with her today. And her brother is here. And when she asked me to come and stand with her today, Jazmyne, there was no hesitation or question. I was in El Paso organizing the campaign, Poor People's Campaign, when the elder sisters decided it was time for them to make a stand. They have not been hasty. They have tried. They have written. They've sent open letters internally. And they have found nothing but resistance. It is important to know, you to know, that this group of elder women include bishops, presidents of branches, long-term fighters for justice, people who have stood up to the literal gun violence of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes.
And they met with this sister and her family and said, this is one battle we cannot let pass.
Yes, yes. No more.
We are here because this young lady and leader decided that she wouldn't be silent anymore and watch an organization not deal with her legitimate legal call for action. We are here because Jazmyne's truth about sexual harassment is not hearsay, hyperbole, or a fixation of her imagination.
Speak the truth.
It is true.
Yes.
We are here because there is clear evidence of what occurred and other things backed by witnesses, recordings, social media, and a 5-month investigation by a top lawyer and professor of law who specializes in sexual harassment and abuse cases. We are here because we have clear evidence that individuals who should be standing with this young lady connected to this North Carolina State Executive Committee have decided to stand instead with the perpetrator. And at appropriate time, we may name them as well. We are here because she has been maligned, and these elder women of highest regard who have given their lives and soul to the cause of justice and love and chose to stand with her, they've been maligned too. And any others that may come forward. They've been ignored. And these women and this lady and this mother has been accused of petty politics. We're here because we and the current state president, Dr. Reverend T. Anthony Spearman, and 2 top lawyers for our state provided counsel along with myself and informed the National 2 years ago. Let me say that. 2 lawyers, myself and the current state president, informed the National 2 years ago and have continued to push the case. National affirmed receipt in numerous ways, but has chosen not to act in ways that only the National can by virtue of its Constitution.
Yes.
No state president or state officer, anyone can remove or expel or suspend a member.
Shame.
We have reviewed the bylaws and Constitution, and there is no clear guidance on dealing with sexual harassment. So the only way it can be dealt with at this current stage is for the national office to act, and power that is rendered only to the national office. We are here finally because there are messages sent to at least one person who gave witness testimony in front of Jazmyne. And this message should concern us all.
Yes, it does.
This was sent by the perpetrator to one of the persons who gave testimony. But if she does this to the wrong person, it could end violently. Some of the past mass shootings were driven by people who say they were mistreated by others within their places of work or worship. What more mistreatment can one commit toward another sister or brother than to lie about something that could carelessly stain a person's years of honest hard work and her livelihood, which punishes and causes stress for his entire family? But if she does this to the wrong person, it could end violently. Some of the past mass shootings were driven by people who said this is language that was utilized by Gatewood and sent to a person who provided witness testimony. I'm a member of the National Board. I've given my heart and soul to this organization, and I am ashamed. I'm hurt, and I'm upset with these women, along with these women. We are all upset. It is time for you to act. And it is time for those of you in this state who we have seen on email and other places to stop making this a petty issue and maligning Jazmyne and her family and these women.
No more.
And stand up
No more.
for what is right. We will not back down.
That's right.
I have been advised by a counsel as well to be very limited, and I will take 2 questions. Jazmyne will not take any. Yes, sir.
Reverend Robert, you've been a part of the NAACP for
Ma'am, I
years.
can't.
There's been a history of allegations of sexual harassment. So why hasn't there been a policy put in place? I mean, these allegations go back 20-some years.
Well, that's what I'm concerned about, and I'm concerned about, I haven't been a part of the national structure for years. We have one in the state. We made sure it was there. But I'm also concerned about, I don't want people to skirt around, well, we didn't have a policy. In the current rendition of the Constitution, the national president can remove anybody on the spot.
Yes.
On the spot, right? The board can act. I've seen them act in certain ways. We signed off on the Me Too resolution. Did a Me Too resolution. This is not about, as much as there ought to be a clearer policy, this is not about the lack of policy, it's about the lack of principle to act right now.
Yes. Yes. Here, here.
The moral thing.
The moral thing to do, the right thing to do.
Yes.
There's comes a time that you do what is right. That's the whole fight of this organization. We were told, oh, we can't end segregation.
Yes.
We don't have a law, a policy.
Yes.
This organization said, though, that segregation violated higher law.
That's right.
And whatever policies kept it in place were immoral.
Yes.
And if you do that in the social structure as it regards to racism, you surely have to do that in as it regards sexual harassment and sexual violence. One more question.
And isn't that the irony?
It is.
And the organization that's dedicated to ending discrimination is discriminating based on gender.
Yeah. This hurts me deeply, and all of us.
But we're going to model what to do.
If we're going to show folk what to do, and we're not giving up. This organization, in this state, we fought, we went to jail, we beat back racism and voter suppression. We're fighting for health care for everybody. We claim in this organization we want young people in, and here is a young person who came to give their early life. This girl could go anywhere she wants to.
Yes. Yes.
Anywhere. She's educated and trained. She came in this organization. And when she let us know what was going on, we immediately did an objective investigation. Immediately. A female top lawyer who specializes in these issues. She did a deep dive. By the time it was over, I was transitioning out, but I stood with the incoming president to say to National, this is for real. And it makes no sense. And if they try to blame the women or blame me or say we didn't follow this or that doesn't hold any water.
Yes.
That's right.
Because if this organization had said that down through the years, we would have never made any progress in this country. Because everything we fought was policy, was legal. But it violated our deeper moral values, our deepest religious values, and our deepest constitutional values. I'm sure that this mother didn't wake up this morning or last week or month before that she wanted to be standing up here with her daughter. But she came today because she has seen and heard people maligning this child and these, and excuse me for saying child, but I got daughters her age, this young lady and these women. You know, it's time for it to cease. And members of the North Carolina NAACP, it's time for it to cease. This sister, this young lady is telling the truth. Yes. And those of you that malign her and line up with the perpetrator are further harassing her and causing violence towards her.
Yes. No more.
No more.
No more.
Can I just ask what your relationship is like now with Reverend Gatewood? Because in my eyes, since I've been in this market, he's been your right-hand man.
No, that's not exactly true. He worked for the NAACP. All of the staff worked. But he's not a right hand. I don't know where that mentality came from. Well, a lot of people, this is my right hand, and there were thousands of people that got arrested. He was a part of the team. You don't know what people are doing until you see. But this is not about personal friendship. That's the very thing it's not about. Whether or not I'm a personal friend or a staff worker or a member of my church, that has nothing to do with this.
Right. What was his role?
This has something. He worked for a portion of time as the coordinator, the HK-on-J coordinator when we first started, and did some work in that regard.
And then he was also, at one point, the head of the Durham chapter, is that correct?
That's been some time. I can't remember all of that history, but yeah.
So what is he
yeah.
now? Does he have a role now?
Well, no, not that I know of. There was an incident where he wrongfully assumed the position of president of Alamance, and the National removed him from that here a few months ago.
With a long history.
And now
Long history. He's been with the
he's been, yes,
and,
that's right.
and when is this election? The
October 5th.
very, very soon.
Yeah.
What's the date?
October 5th.
Yeah.
October 5th for the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
As I said, folks, a couple of hours ago, I sent a text message to the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, and their national spokesman, and they said a statement would be forthcoming. We've yet to receive that, and so certainly when we do hear from the national NAACP, we will certainly alert all of you. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. November 7th through the 11th, of course, Luxe Jazz experience taking place in Cabo. It's going to be fantastic. Gerald Orb right there, my alpha brother, is going to be one of the folks performing there. It's top-notch music, food, golf, spa, all that good stuff taking place at the Omnia Day Club in Los Cabos, nestled on the Sea of Cortez in the celebrity playground of Los Cabos. The Luxe Jazz experience offers the ultimate getaway for discerning jazz aficionados. It's going to be a fantastic time. I'll be broadcasting Roland Martin Unfiltered there Thursday and Friday from Los Cabos. Great excursions, mini concerts, including the Spirit of Jazz Gospel Brunch, as well as the Jazz Sunset Cruise. Confirmed guests, comedian actor Mark Curry with Joe Albright, Alex Bouillon, Raul Madon, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, Kirk Whalum, Average White Band, Donnie McClurkin, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Tom Brown, Ronnie Laws, and Ernest Quarles. For more information, please visit www.lifeluxejazz.com, LIFELUXEJAZZ.com. You want to book your package real soon to get those airline tickets as well. And so while folks are freezing in the Northeast and the Midwest all across the country, we'll be having some fun, some sun-drenched fun there in Cabo. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.